Hi, class. Professor Graham again. How are you? Let's go over the syllabus together. Let me just pull this up for you. And here we go. All right. So at this point, hopefully you have watched the welcome video and it was just a brief intro. Now we're going to move on to the syllabus. And also I'd like to just kind of show you how the flow of the class works. So first and foremost, we're here at the syllabus. Um, this is going to be obviously the nuts and bolts of the class. You are in English 1B. It is officially titled Critical Thinking and Writing About Literature. There are 4 units, regardless of the term. And the course catalog description says this course develops critical thinking, reading, and writing skills through the analysis of prose, poetry, drama, and literary criticism from diverse cultural perspectives. Emphasis is placed on the principles of effective written argument with a focus on literature. And you should have completed English C1000, which used to be referred to as English 1A. So either one of those, they're the same class, just a different. A rose is a rose, right? It's the same class of a different title. The required text really is a computer, reliable internet access, and an email address through YCCD. All required readings and texts are actually provided here through the Canvas modules. So you should not have to purchase anything at all. The student learning outcomes are that you evaluate a literary text for its use of genre conventions, to gather, evaluate, and effectively integrate research materials to produce a critical analysis of a literary text. You'll do that 4 times actually. And to compose clearly written, well organized, purpose-driven literary analysis. And that will also happen in your essay assignments. I'm not going to read the rest to you. However, I would ask you to read through the course objectives, what the course will be built on, which is the composition and argumentation factor, and then also research and MLA integration, which hopefully you did learn in English C1000 or English 1A. If not, I have some resources for you. Don't panic. We'll get to that in just one moment. For now, we're going to stick with the syllabus. And here's how to reach me. The best, very, very best way is right here through Canvas in the ebook, through the inbox, email inbox. There we go. I've provided a link here, and I read my emails regularly, so I will respond to you rather quickly. However, if you do have a question about an assignment, it should come in sooner than later. Don't wait till the last minute to ask me questions. In other words, start your homework before, read your questions before the readings, for example, and so you can ask any questions in advance. I Again, I do reply rather quickly, but officially I have to say, give me 24 to 48 hours to reply. All right. Oh, one more thing before we get past that. Uh, Whoopsie. So, so right here in the virtual office hours, officially I have written down Mondays 1 to 2 p.m. However, that is just a formality. I am happy to meet with you guys at any point that you need to meet with me. I've met with students at 9 p.m. I've met with students at 8 a.m. I'm happy to do that to support your needs. All you have to do after emailing me the request and we set up an appointment, you'll just need to come here and click the Zoom office link. But always feel free to email me. Again, I check that regularly. And anytime you need help, have questions, anything, feel free. Okay, so moving on, we're here at in the syllabus at the Yuba College, the Yuba Community College Student Conduct and Academic Integrity, uh, their rules. So we do know that it's your responsibility to um, you're expected to develop and demonstrate skills in communication, computation, critical thinking, global awareness, information competency, personal and social responsibility, and technical awareness. So, this growth happens in a constructive and respectful campus environment. There is a policy on plagiarism. Obviously, you know better than that at this point, of course. So, there should be no intentional use of another person's work from a book, website, or journal or another student without proper citation. So, hopefully, in English 1A or English C1000, you did learn how to cite your resources. You can use any resource at all, just as long as you give proper citation. Obviously, plagiarism is not tolerated, and everything will be checked before I grade it for plagiarism and AI use, which I'll cover in the next page, I believe. Just know that academic honesty is very important, and not only in our class, but in college in general, and specifically, it is a rule for Yuba, but I'm sure you already know that. Okay, so some of our course policies. For attendance, for example, this is an asynchronous class, so there are no class meetings. Therefore, there is no attendance taken. Just so long as you keep up with your assignments, you're good. Late work. This is a student favorite. Late assignments automatically receive a 25% grade penalty. No late work will be accepted after 3 days past the due date. The good news is I do accept late work, right? However, it will be penalized. Revised work is another thing I like to offer you guys is the chance to revise, especially an essay. But if you have a homework assignment you'd like to improve, that's fine as well. If you're unhappy with the grade, just and you read my feedback after it does receive the grade. First of all, you're welcome to also make an appointment with me and we can go over it together. That usually is very, very helpful for students. You're not expected to do it on your own. If you would like help, please reach out to me. I love to help my students. However, you don't have to. You do have 24 hours to use my feedback in the grading rubric to make improvements and resubmit the work. Late submissions do not receive the privilege of being able to be revised, and if it is submitted incomplete, then there is also no, it's also non-eligible for revision. So at this point, I'm sure everyone is well aware of what AI is and that it definitely shouldn't be used in college, but especially a writing class. So, if you would please take the time to read through the AI policy for this course, if and when, because all work is checked, like I said, for plagiarism and for AI. If something does come up as AI, it will receive a zero. The zero is a holding place, and then we'll meet. I'll request that you reach out to me to set up a meeting, and we'll meet and go over the work, find out why it was flagged for AI, and we'll proceed from there. But the zero will be a holding place until we have that conversation. So again, I'll let you guys read through this. It is a bit extensive, and I will put you to sleep if I start reading it all. Let's get back to our specific course work. So all of your assignments in this class need to be submitted in MLA format. So what that means is that it will be typed, even if it's notes for extra credit, they must be typed. They must be double spaced. They must be in 12 point Times New Roman font and an MLA format, which means all the spacing on the page, the margins, the heading, page numbers, etc., that you hopefully learned in English 1A, that is expected in this course as well. If anything is submitted in anything but MLA format, it will be returned to you and you'll be asked to reformat it. It will receive a 0 as a holding place until that happens. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. I'm happy to explain. I also, again, moving forward here in just a little minute, I'll be able to help you locate the MLA module that's available to you. So make sure that all your files are submitted as a .doc or a .docx. Do not use Google Docs in this class. It does usually not format correctly, and oftentimes students use Grammarly, not realizing that that is AI, and so it will flag your work oftentimes. So just be very mindful that using Google Docs in this class might actually be a hindrance and cause more problems than you want. So all homework in this class are reading questions. Their short answer, every short story, the novel, the play, and those three have reading questions. The poetry assignment, the final week, does not have any reading questions, and you'll see why in just a moment. But homework in this class are usually reading questions. My advice will always be to read the homework questions, just read through them very quickly before reading the short stories so you know kind of what to look for and be ready to answer. All of your homework answers, these short answers, must be supported with a cited quote from the reading. Every answer should have a cited quote from the reading, and this will be helpful when you do start writing your essay. You'll have a list of quotes ready to go with the citation, so that's nice. The discussion forums, every module does have a discussion forum. It actually has two. There will be one graded, and then there's one that is actually non-graded, and it's for you guys. And I'll kind of go over that in just a second. But your homework, again, just to review here, we're talking about some short answer questions that should be cited for each reading, and one required discussion post per module, and then there will be one essay per module. So there are 4 essays total, 4 required discussion posts total, and then the homework assignments are per reading. So you'll see that in just a second. And there you have it. So I will the grading scale, everything's kind of as usual. Here's our grading rubric that we use for this class on all essays. So the criteria is there for each letter grade. And again, I invite you to read it on your own. One thing I do want to talk to you about is our communication plan for this semester. Kind of where do you look for communication from me? How will it come? How often will it come? So you will receive assignment feedback and revision support, as I mentioned. Uh, Again, I'm not going to read this word for word, but you will get feedback from me on your writing assignments, specifically your essay assignments. And there will also be a rubric attached to each assignment. You will also receive from me weekly announcements that kind of cover reminders about upcoming due dates or readings or clarification of anything when questions come in to me, for example, from students, if I have one or two questions, I'll include the answers in the announcements. Consider, maybe there are common issues, maybe they'll be helpful to you. Uh, and then as we progress, there may be some commonalities, say, for example, in the discussion posts or in some of your answers. So I look forward to kind of infusing our weekly work, whether it's your questions or your insights. I'll infuse my announcements with that. And so everyone hopefully will feel a little bit more connected both to me and to each other. And I'll also send out emails for periodic check-ins. And I'm available for one-on-one Zoom conferences, as I mentioned. We can also do group reviews if, like, for example, before an essay, if there are a couple students that want a little bit more support, we can all meet at the same time. And it's fun to kind of see peers connect in that way. And then you'll also have your peer collaborative feedback in the discussion post. And those will be both, as I said, both graded and ungraded. All right. Okay, so we are actually moving forward. Let me come pull back into our modules because we have just gone through the syllabus. Now, I'm going to take just a few moments to kind of show you how the class is intended to work and how the flow will go, right? So you have your syllabus that's always available for you. There is a module for student support services and resources. That's where you're going to find your library and reference links. Uh, your tutor center communication, DSPS services, homework and discussion help, tips for success from previous students. That's something I gather at the end of the semester and kind of include for the next semester of students. I've also uploaded a Canvas orientation module for you in case you want a little support or find yourself wondering how something works. This is here for you. It's just as an extra kind of. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Canvas, but you know, sometimes we need a little extra support. In terms of MLA formatting, there is a module available for you, and you can use that certainly to help cite your sources or format your essay, anything like that. And anything that you're looking for that isn't here, feel free again to email me and we can go over anything whatsoever. I can provide additional information. Now, this is where our work kind of starts, or your work, right? So that is your syllabus, your learner support stuff, right? Your student support. Now, as you can see, after that, there are the module 0, which I'm going to open these for you here in just a second. But I do want to warn you that each module is locked until you have read there's a prerequisite. So, for example, before you start module 0, you are required to read the syllabus. And then before you get to module 1, you'll need to complete module 0 and so on. So each one is locked until the one previous to it has been completed. So the first module is it's module 0 for a reason. It's kind of our starting point. This is a formality, the first discussion post where you guys introduce yourselves to each other and we get the ball rolling in class. The first module, which will also begin on the very first day, June 8th, will be the short fiction module. So and all of the modules follow us the same pattern. It'll begin with your objectives and assignments. Then there'll be a lecture and then your reading assignment. So note here, your submission is due on June 10th. So obviously you're going to want to start it on June 8th. and get your short stories read and the answers completed, submitted, and then you move on. So I have spaced out the homework reading assignments. There are two short stories per reading, and they are usually 2 to 3 days apart. If it's the summer section, it goes pretty quickly. If it's a regular semester, whether it's fall or spring, then these assignments won't be so tightly compacted. But in summer sections, they are a couple days apart. I say this because I want you guys to stay ahead of the due dates so they don't sneak up. Give yourself 2 days to complete this. Read the homework or read the homework questions, then read the short stories and watch the videos, the biography videos on the authors. When you are watching those videos, make sure to take notes. Um, but I'm getting a little off track. I'll cover that in a little bit. So, anyways, you have short fiction, you have your homework assignments, you'll have one discussion post that is required, and then the module ends with an essay. Every essay is the same length in this class, 6 to 8 paragraphs. And then there's a non-graded casual discussion area for you guys, for peers to connect, to discuss things that are a little, a little less informally if you wish. And each module, again, will follow this pattern. So you have a same thing, objectives and assignments. You'll have biography of the authors and the lecturers. And then you'll have your reading assignments, a discussion post, and it will end with an essay assignment. And of course, there is the ungraded discussion and so on. So they're all kind of the same. But again, you will be confused if you try to skip around and they'll be locked. Uh, it is set up that way. So, and that's to encourage you to actually take in all the information rather than skip around, or even sometimes students really do themselves a disservice by trying to just follow the tasks or go to the calendar and try and complete assignments without doing the work. Um, and then it usually it doesn't work out for them. So anyway, that's about it for now. I'm going to go through each module and leave a video for you there. So I will see you at the short fiction in our next the next time I see you will be in the short fiction video. Bye.